Hey, welcome back. Today, I'm going to build a directory listing builder. But before I get into it, I want to tell you two things. The first one is that the first SaaS template is already available for core and enterprise customers. You can download this code. I called it indexer.so, and I know I didn't make the last video where I launched it on Product Hunt and where I implemented new features like connecting Google accounts, but all this code is available. I'm already using it for my sites. As you can see, I indexed my new SaasRock pages 4 hours ago, where I implemented the German language. For example, if I go to the contact page, it's now in German, the header, the hero section, basically the most important things like pricing and all that. Now, the second thing that I want to show you is that I'm already working on the shadcn-ui library. It's not a library, I don't know how to call it, and it's coming along. If I, for example, go to this UI theme generator and I pick a random color, set the lightness and the saturation, I will be able to copy this theme and paste it on my globals file here, and this will look nicer, and it's also supporting dark mode, so that looks nice, because the current one is just a main theme color, and that's not ideal. So for the directory listing builder, what are the features that I'm going to build? First of all, users will be able to create multiple listings, or well, at least one. I'm not sure if many, one per account or multiple per account, I don't know. Then guests of that directory will be able to submit or claim a listing, and then they will be able to pay for promoted listing to be featured. The previous example that I told you is SaaS boilerplates. I didn't build this, but I'm featured as the first product because I paid like, I think $200 or so. And the basic features of a directory are categories, of course, listings, and filters. I'm not seeing any filters here. I see these as categories, and it's just one main category. I guess on all directories, there should be one main category. I'm not sure about it, but here I have a few references. For example, Airbnb, of course you know it. It's a rentals and experiences listing builder, directory. And as you can see, the categories are like amazing views, tropical, trending, although this could be also tags. And let's see, look at the filters. So maybe we'll not build complicated things like this, but we want some dynamic building. So that will be hard. One way will be to use the entity builder, but I'm not sure if I will hit a wall. But I could try and then switch to another custom implementation if it falls short. The other example that I have is Directorist, which is a popular WordPress plugin for building directories. And they have so many features, and they have a demos route where I can show you one of these, like for example, this one, which is a restaurant directory, and they should have one main category. Let's see. The category is type of meal, I think. Yeah, I think, because it says fine dining, fast food, family style. And here, if I click on this drop down, these are the categories. So fine dining appears here, here, and I guess here. Fine dining, it should be here. Yeah, here. But as you can see, this listing has a different layout than Airbnb. So maybe we should support multiple layouts. Yeah, let's start with that. Let's take inspiration from these two. And yeah, let me close my development environment for SaasRock and start again from scratch. And actually, I made this guide. I called it Build, Market, and Manage Your SaaS, which are the steps that I took on the first SaaS template that I made, where I set up the environment, start with one feature, I set up the pricing plans, set up transaction and emails. The difficult part of this SaaS will be this one. I mean, the main feature, we need to build it from scratch. And there are many ways I can do that. I like starting without a database, like playing around with DTOs and render the UI to see how the end application of a directory, in this case, will look like without any backend functionality. Just getting the listings from a loader and put it on a component and start building components, and then implement the server-side logic and then the models and all that. So let's follow this guide. I'm going to clone again the SaasRock enterprise repository, and I'm going to call this I found a domain that I can use like Listado. Well, I'm just going to call it directory listings. Directory is fine. So let's wait. And what is the next step? Initialize Git and create a new repository. Let's do that in the meantime. SaasRock directory. And let's see the progress here. And we're gonna use all this code to push the initial changes, which is a blank new SaasRock instance directory. I'm gonna install the dependencies first. Hopefully it does it fast. And then I'm going to type code space dot to open the project on VS Code. And then we're gonna follow this first. Initialize the Git, where, well, the Git should be already initialized. We're gonna remove the default origin branch, or yeah, the default origin, which right now should be pointing at the cloned repository. So it's already done. The project is now open. I'm gonna open a terminal. I'm gonna stop this bit process, and I'm gonna do git remote -b. Let's remove that, git remote remove origin, and then initialize my, well, I think it's already initialized, but let's copy from this and push. Oops, there was an error. No. So that said, we're gonna copy, or should I say duplicate the environment example file and start here. Directory, and this should be at SaasRock directory.fly.io, where I'm going to deploy, and I'm going to use Postgres. So I'm going to go to my schema Prisma and change, well, it's already on Postgres. I'm going to use my local one, which is testing. I think this is local, and port, the default one. The database will be a new one, directory. Now, the next step is to push my database, to create it and create the schema, the tables, and then I'm going to seed it, db seed. Now let's see what is the next step. Let's run the application. and open localhost on port 3000. I'm gonna close, well, I'm going to see if it was deployed. Yeah, the git changes were not deployed. I think I needed to add git add dot and then git push origin main. Yeah. Instead of this line, git add readme, I'm adding all the files. Now let's see on the local host port 3000, we have blank SaasRock instance. So where should we start building the feature? In this guide, it says that you should think on the first feature, or the most important one, and create the module for it. So let's do that. I'm going to go to app modules and create a folder called directory listings, directory listings maybe, and then the database folder, DTOs folder, services folder, utils folder, and what else? Components, new folder components. Now let's close this. This is already done, and I think I should create a route. Here it says create the routes under app tenant, and maybe I should do that, but because I'm going to try using the entity builder for listings, I'm going to start with the end feature, which is the public directory. And for that, I will start with the DTOs. I'm going to call this listing DTO. I can create multiple DTO files for each one of them, but sometimes for quickly development, I like to create all the DTOs of the module under the same file. Export type listing DTO, and let's think of the main things that a listing has. I'm going to open Airbnb and the restaurants demo, directories, demos, restaurant. Now here, I don't have a title for this, but I have a logo. So I'm sure users may want to add a logo, and it should be type string. And what else? Here's the logo. A title, maybe. Title or headline. I don't know how to call it. Maybe headline. And description. Well, title and description sounds simpler. Title, description, what else? It has categories. So categories. And this should be another DTO called category or listing category DTO. And let's create this DTO and export it. Now for this one, let's see. It could have a name. Name and value, maybe. This could be, for example, what was it called? Fine dining. And the value will be fine dining, but in lowercase. And the icon, yeah, this will complicate things. So categories, yeah, no. Value, name, value, maybe the value could be the slug. So we don't create another property for that. Yeah, let's keep it simple. Now, another thing is attributes, because each listing could have dynamic attributes, and these represent row values on the entity builder. So listing, actually the categories are also dynamic row values, but we're gonna treat them as different. Listing attribute, DTO. So let's do it the same way as we did with categories, but here, this should be of should have a type, and this could be like text or number, or yeah, keep it simple: text, number, multiple, multi-select or select, or array, or boolean, or date. Yeah, text, number, array, or boolean. Yeah, I think those 4 are enough. And then this is the basic stuff. If we look at the other directory, SaaS boilerplates, they have the categories, the category technologies, and for example .NET. If I click on it, the value is net in lowercase, but the name is .NET in uppercase. And this directory decided to do it with params, query params, but categories could be like /net, and that will list all the listings on that category. So I could create a few listings, and for that I'm going to create a file called fake listings or fake directories. Yeah, actually this shouldn't be called listing, is directory DTO, and there should be another one called listing DTO, and this is within a directory. I'm going to remove the ID, but we are going to keep a slug and have a name. What are the basic things listing has? It has title and description, and this title on this rental, it may be a dynamic title, like a location based attribute, and this one has, let's see, a restaurant title, and it doesn't have a description, it's all attributes. But if I go inside the restaurant, there may be a description, details. Yeah, it feels like on every listing they should have a name and a description, and instead of name I'm going to put title, just to keep it the same as the directory. Now the categories shouldn't be the same as the main category entities. They should be values. So for that I'm going to put this at the bottom and create another type called listing category DTO. Listing category, this represents the row value of a listing to a category, and it says for this name is this value, and the name should be the same as the category value. Yeah, listing category, yeah, this should be called directory category and directory attributes. And let's create listing category DTO, yeah, name, for example, for, well, actually just the value, right? Because the name has, it's on the directory category. And directory listing attribute, listing attribute should have only the value of the directory attribute for this value or for this attribute. Well, let me switch that to a more comprehensive names. category, and here it's attribute and the value. So for this attribute, it's this value, and here for this category is this value. And yeah, I think if we put here an example like price range, well, something simpler like let's see, let's look at the restaurant special diets. This feels like multi-select, so it's select, I call it, no, array, and the value, although it's a string, it could be represented in an object, and I don't want to do it too complicated. Value or values, yeah, just keep it like this. For special diets, the value should be vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free. Okay, I think we have the basic DTOs. Now I can create the fake directories. And for the fake directories, this will be export const fake directories of type directory DTO, and we're gonna duplicate, copy. I'm not sure if I should start with Airbnb or with SaaS boilerplates, which is a simplest one. Okay, title, it's called SaaS boilerplates, or best SaaS boilerplates, and the description for building SaaS applications, yeah, whatever. Now the categories, let's create some categories, like the first one should be the value is technology or stack or framework, and the name is framework, and some attributes such as type, text, name, price, yeah, this should be number, name should be price, and value, it's price. And yeah, let's try rendering this. Well, I'm missing the listings, of course. Listings, well, but we didn't create a property for that. Listings, and it contains listing DTOs. And for this, let's add my boilerplates. Slug, svelte SaaS-kit, and the title is svelte SaaS-kit, and what other properties? Slug, title, and description. SvelteKit boilerplate, SvelteKit SaaS boilerplate for building, well, SvelteKit boilerplate for building SaaS applications. Yeah, I think that's enough. And of course, the first one is SaasRock, the remix-saas boilerplate, and this should have some basic attributes, like, well, for this I may need to add the categories here, listing categories, and attributes. So for these categories, this should have the same name, category. Framework is on remix, and for attributes, did we add, yeah, the price. category price, value. There are multiple editions, but I'm gonna keep the core one, which is $4.99. But it is a number. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like this for a second. And categories svelte. Well, but svelte, is it a framework? Yeah. Category, yeah. Let's go to attributes. Attributes. And the price, I think it's 49. Let me see. Well, it's 19 for the front end only, and 49 for with a .NET backend. So this is fine. Let's start with this. So here I'm going to try different directories. And how will I render it? I'm going to go to my routes folder and create a file called, I may put the D prefix and the directory param tsx. So here, let's quickly add the loader. This should be of type loader action, loader function args from Remix, and I'm going to define a type for the response, and this should have the directory, which is the item directory DTO. Now here I'm going to grab that item from the fake directories, and I'm going to use the params to get the current. I'm missing a slug on the directories. Well, but this is my point. For custom domains, this may be a problem, because I can't promise that I will add custom domains, because I'm not sure Remix supports it out of the box. But let me think. We could deploy like the main application using this application, this repository, I mean, and then create another repository or another project for the directories and be able to deploy that on a custom subdomain. But I'm not sure how it works. But for this testing, I'm going to use a slug. Maybe anyways, all directories need a slug. Restaurants, no. Best SaaS boilerplates. So I'm gonna go and maybe I open a new tab for this and go to slash and the slug. So let's fix that file. We should return here this item, but I like to return a typed object in case I forget or I want to add more items. Yeah, if it's undefined, if it's not found, we could return a JSON error not found. And let's build the React component, export default function, and let's use the data, use typed loader data of this type. And this is our component. So let's render just the title and the description. And just so it doesn't look like trash, I'm going to put this as pros. And let's save this and try again. Best SaaS boilerplates. Yeah, so we could implement an image for this, or go straight to the categories, filters, and listings layout. But we may need an image anyway, so I'm gonna go to Unsplash, and I'm not sure what image should I use for boilerplates. let's try looking at that. Boilerplates, SaaS boilerplates. Yeah, nothing is related to that. Maybe computer science. Yeah, let's try with code editors. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna copy the image address, but is this free? I'm not sure what the license is for this type of images, so maybe I shouldn't use them. I wanted to have Unsplash watermarks so I don't get in trouble. License free. Yeah, I should have started with that. Copy image address, and let's go to the listing DTOs and put here the image, which can be undefined because maybe you don't want an image, but for this directory we want one image, and it's this one. Now I'm not going to build it from scratch. I'm going to look for Tailwind CSS hero section with background image, excuse me. And I already looked at this one, and this is a simple one. So I'm going to go to play Tailwind CSS to see how it looks with the image that I'm going to use. Where's the code? So this is a header. Put it here and replace it with my image. Instead of style. Well, maybe this is not the best example because I don't want to use it with style. I want to use the image component. So let's try looking at another one. Free hero section templates. Let's see if one of these has an image. Yeah, this one. Oh, but this is not free. And then why it says free? Tailwind's hero section with background image. Well, oh, I already tested with b0.dev, and I have this generation that I ask it to add it, and this is the title, and this will be the listings component, something like this. But I want to have add a background image to the hero section, and well, this is doing it. I may want to use another. I'm sorry for the time jump. My Mac just crashed. But the good thing is that in the past 2 hours, I talked to GPT, and of course I freed my Mac space so it doesn't crash again. So it creates a hero section with a background image as I wanted it. I had this chat, long chat. So I created this component where I have the title, description, search bar, search button, category buttons or list of categories, and the background image. Now let's copy this and go to, where do I put it? On the directory route. But we could create a component first. On components folder, let's create a directory. It could be called directory or directory home. Let's call it directory home. Export default function directory home, and this receives an interface with an item of type DirectoryDto. And now we can paste this code generated by GPT here. And as you know, GPT gives comments, so I'm going to delete those and replace all the class instances to class name. Now what else is autocomplete? Should be with C, with capital C. Autocomplete off. Now I'm going to use this component here, directory home, receiving the item from the data. And let's see how it looks. Okay, so it doesn't look bad. Let's see in mobile. Yeah, it's responsive. So what I want to know is, what if I change to a light mode background, like this one? Let me go to the image and comment this one and put it here. Well, but on the directory home, I need to change the image to use from the item image, and let's do the title as well. Item title and item description. Oops, I needed to unwrap the item. Now let's try again and see how it looks on a light mode background. Okay, so it doesn't look bad because this is text white. If I change it to like dark, it doesn't look really well. Well, it doesn't look bad actually. Let's try with black. This could be a setting on the directory, like what color is on the hero section, but I don't want to complicate things. I just want to make the hero section to support light and dark backgrounds. So let's leave it with with white foreground. Now for the categories, while my Mac was crashing, I realized that I did these categories for directories wrong. I needed to add like options here. And this could be a list of strings, but if I want to sort the categories, the category values with order of importance, I could have like an order property. So order, name, and value. And in the directory, in the fake directory that we're building for SaaS boilerplates, on the category framework, we should have all the options available. Let's order number 1, remix, value remix. Order number 2. And this, of course, should be retrieved from the database. I'm just doing it manually, so I don't have to build the CRUD first and spelled. Now we can have multiple categories, but maybe we should have like a default one. Yeah, let's do that. Is default, and the framework is the default category, so it will be displayed under the search bar. But we could have another category called price is default false. Value could be language, maybe, like in case of remix it's React. Name it's language, option TypeScript, JavaScript. Okay, let's change this to React and this to Svelte. Now on the listings, which currently I have 2, for this category I have the value from the option of the category. Category value, yeah, is that so? Yeah, I think so. The value, not the name. And for the other category, language, it's React. And let's see, the other listing is language Svelte. Yeah. Now we can use the directory categories to list them on here instead of having category 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wrap this under an array, and let's set the key category value and let's set here. Well, but this is not for all the categories. I need to grab the default category. Default category filter is default, and we're gonna grab the first one. There shouldn't be more than one. And if there is no default category, we're gonna return a component that says invalid directory default category missing. So we can safely use the default category options. Category option, we're gonna use the category option value and category option name. And since we are using the orders, let's sort this by order. And I think that's it. Let's see how it looks. And let me change back to the previous image, which looks better. Okay, so now we have remix and svelte. We can, before implementing this UI, we can create the other page, which is directory category. But I'm not sure if I should add the category value, like framework and language first, and then the values, like category value. It will have best SaaS boilerplates, which is the slug of the directory / framework / .net or svelte or remix, or just the directory and /.net. But that could be a problem in case in two categories there's the same value. So I'm going to use this pattern, category and value. I duplicated this directory route, so I just don't start from scratch. But here we can have the current directory, like we have already done, and the current category, directory category. But actually it's a directory category option. But we want to know the current category anyways, and category value maybe. Well, but this could be another object, or we can just retrieve like the current listings for this category option based on the params. So I'm not going to return the value. I'm just going to return the current category. And let's grab the categories, find where the value is from the params category. And if it doesn't exist, I'm gonna return an error. Otherwise, I'm gonna create items object listing these categories. Category from this category. Let's see. The listing has categories and it's listing the current category. No, we need category value from the params value. And we're gonna filter the listings based on that category value. So the value should be, well, this should be from the database. And I'm not sure this is going to do it correctly. So I'm just going to console log and put below the directory home. Well, instead of having the directory home, which there be a category home, there could be a category home with a custom background image for that category. I'm just going to put in JSON, stringify the data items, listing DTO, and items. So let's redirect to this route from the directory home component with the link component from remix, and let's add two. Well, we're already on the current slug, so just the default category value and then the option value. Yeah, like that. And actually, let's make this hover underline so I know it's working. Let's refresh. Okay, so let's try the category items. So for remix, we have SaasRock, and for Svelte, we have Svelte SaaS-kit. So it's working. Okay, so we can build the directory, the category home similar to this, but I may have to add like another image for each one of the categories. So I'm going to focus on the directory home first. Now, this feels like a little bit tall because Airbnb does it, contains 0 hero sections. But on the other directory demo, which is the restaurant, it covers the whole page. So maybe this should be the way, like maybe make this even larger, but this is okay. Now we can build here on the bottom left corner all the categories and all the values with maybe checkboxes and then the list. So let's start doing that. On the directory, we're gonna grab this inside a div. So there's another div for the container, and there's another div for categories, and this should be, I think, it could be a grid or a flex, SpaceX4 maybe, and make this fixed width, like, I don't know, let's try with 64. And for the listings, let's try with full. And this should be different in mobile, but I'm going to worry about that in the future. This is the listings grid, and just so I know how it looks, I will put this as red and this as blue. And I'm gonna fill the page with these containers. Now let's see how it looks. Listings grid and the categories. Okay, so first of all, this should be of max width of like 4XL and center it. And also maybe a padding of 6, so it's a little bit at the bottom. Category seems to be, the container seems to be too small, so let's try fixing by making it a little bit wider. So these are the categories. Now I don't like that I can't scroll all the way to the bottom, so I'm going to put this as screen, so it lets me scroll all the way to the bottom and more. Now for the what should I build first? Maybe the categories. A little bit of padding, and well, the padding is already there, so it's unnecessary. So for each categories, let's see if Copilot helps me. For this item, I should have the category name and then the options, and then close it and make the category name with bold and small, and gray 500, and maybe uppercase, and maybe even smaller. And for each category there should be spacing a little bit, and this could be a cart with padding x2, y1, and on hover, well, border transparent, and on hover border gray 300, and text gray 700, and on hover text gray 900. What is missing here? I think I didn't close the first div. Yeah, there's missing a div here. Okay, let's see how it looks. It should render framework, remix svelte, language React svelte. Okay, it looks awful. And this should be buttons, but in remix you can actually have checkboxes that listen to the URL params. We can do that instead of redirecting to the current to the selected category, because it can select multiple. Let's think for a moment. First of all, the name should also have padding and more space between categories, like 5, and more space between the category name and the options. So now let's try to can we select multiple, or should we? Yeah, let's try having an object that stores the selected categories, category values, and this should be an object pointing to the category name and the category value. Now I could use search params from use search params to grab whenever it changes. I don't like using use effect, but I like implement it first and then remove it once I know how to do it. Now we're gonna grab all the categories. So for in data item categories, we're gonna see the values. I mean, I think this is for off, not for in, and this is category. We're gonna see if on the search params get all from the value of the category name. We're gonna add it to the selected categories, and I'm gonna trust GPT does it well. I'm gonna update these dependencies and actually use these selected category values on these options, and I'm gonna put this like this: if is selected from this category this option, I need to create this function, is selected categories, and well, but this gives me the class names. I don't want that. So if selected filter length, so it returns a boolean, it can be an object, but anyways, if it's selected, the border should be similar to the hover, but we can actually change the background color to gray. And let's import this and remove this, and let's try. But this should be options, I mean buttons. When clicking, it should update the search params. Below key or below the class name, I don't know if what's the best convention for this order, but on click I'm gonna set this is doing multiple things. Let's see, strings have now properties. Okay, so we want to grab the current search params and current values, existing option on the selected category values, and if it's existing, we're gonna delete that category value. No, but not on the current search. I don't think I did it the best way. I think it should be a custom URL parameter, like framework dash remix. Framework dash remix. Yeah, that's the problem when you support multiple categories. It's something that I intended to avoid, but I wanted to have it flexible enough. So we're gonna try this again with just values. And use effect. So again, for off a category of data item categories, the value is actually like this: category value dash, but for each option, for like this, for option. So this is the value that will be in the param. And well, but I did it wrong again, because I don't want it to be category. I want it to be the parameter, the name of the category in this case, or the value, like framework. So I'm going to try again. Bear with me. This is the downsides of building in public. So again, for this category, we have this value. Now we're gonna iterate on each one of them. We're gonna grab the values from these category values, and for each one of them I'm gonna add it to the selected category values. And for updating, well, for checking if it's selected, this is easy. On this category, return selected. No, not like this. If the selected category values on this category and the values, no, it should work like that. And now this is a button. Let's try again. So we're gonna see if it's selected. but this is already an option selected. We're gonna, if existing, we're gonna params set previously delete option value. But we don't want to delete all the option from that category. So we need to do it one by one. If existing, search params, delete category value. Does this work? Name, value? Yeah, I think so. Otherwise, append this category value to this option. So this should work now. And we're gonna set prevent scroll reset, so it doesn't updates to the top whenever I click on it, because it updates the URL. And since I switched to to buttons, let's make this flexible and put this with full width. And text to the left. And let's remove the red background. So let's see how it looks. Framework remix, framework spelled, and when deleted, it removes it from the parameter, but it doesn't add it again. So it seems like it's not updating. But maybe we don't even need these category values in the first place. Everything is, this is what I was talking about of use effects. We're gonna see if the search params has these category values. Otherwise, it will add it. Let's try. Yeah, now it works, the toggle. Now let's see. Well, now we need to build the listings grid first before actually testing the feature. And where do we put it? On the blue grid. So for this, it could be a grid of 3 cards per row. So let's do it like this. Class name, grid, calls 3, gap 4, and for each, well, actually on mobile this should be only 1 card. Now let's iterate the listings, and this is a card, title, description, and yeah, maybe each listing should have an image for a preview, but that will be more advanced. I will leave that to another video. So we have our cards, but I like to have borders without shadows, and maybe make them prominent, like 800 and border 2, just to see how it looks, and remove the blue background. Okay, this kind of looks like hyper-ui.dev, like these cards, so it doesn't look too bad. Now this should be cards that are clickable, so these are links that redirect to the corresponding, well, for this listing maybe there could be a slug yeah, like that. But what if the listing slug is the same as the category? Yeah, I don't think that will happen, and we won't have a category page alone. We will have framework.net, framework remix, not framework. So this is not a problem, and this should be hoverable, hover bg gray 50, I think it's still updating. Yeah, like this. And of course we don't have currently the page for the listing, but let's see if this works. Now we need the search params from the current param search. No, I usually do it like this. I need the request URL and then get the params, the search params. Now how can I do it without databases? Item categories, find. I think I need to iterate again for each. Yeah, I think I need to do it filtered listings. And if no, but not with attributes. Let's see, filter category values. Category values listings log. No, not like this. Listings category value from item category options value. Let's see if it does it right. Why is it not auto-completing? I think I need to build it myself. So, filtered items listing DTO, and we will start with every listing. Where are my listings? Item listings, and for off the directory categories, we're gonna see if it's filtering something. Categories, all filtered categories from the search params, get all these category values, and if all filtered categories is more than one, we're gonna filter the ones that are in the params, includes values. Yeah, like this. And I think that's it for now. Items, or maybe listings, and return the filtered list items. And instead of using data item listings, it's data listings. So let's see. Currently, I'm not filtering anything. If I click remix, okay, SaasRock, and if I unclick it again, svelte. And what if I add svelte with React? It doesn't exist. Svelte with svelte. Well, the framework is SaasKit, and I think it's together like this. Well, but it looks better with a dash. So let's try again. SaasKit with React doesn't exist. Well, but there seems to be a bug here. If I select React, okay, I found that it actually worked correctly. The problem was here, because I renamed Svelte to SaasKit on the framework. I didn't do it here. It should be SaasKit, and now it works. So if I click remix, just SaasRock, if I click remix and SaasKit, it shouldn't return anything. but it's taking longer. Yeah, anything. And if I click remix and React, SaasRock, and Svelte, nothing. And now SvelteKit with React, and SvelteKit with Svelte, yeah, it works. So this is taking form. Now we can add the filters section at the top right, or we can create the listing page. I don't know which works best. Let's see. Well, first on the cards, I'm going to put all the attribute values for the current listing. For all the attributes, I'm going to put it the name and then the value. But here, do I have the name? I don't think I have the name. Maybe the attribute. What do I have on the attribute? Yeah, I have attribute. It's just that my Mac is super slow. Now let's see how it looks. It should have the price and what else? I don't remember. Yeah, just the price. And we can filter by price and make it support texts, multi-select, numbers, dates, maybe booleans, and maybe just instead of multi-select, just a select, similar to the Airbnb filter component, where they have this is multi-select of type radio cards, and this is of price range. This is select with a custom render of cards of each option, and the property type seems like multi-select radio cards, similar to the place multi-select. I mean select, but this is only for one select, and this is multiple. And these are what are these? Yeah, multi-select as well, but of type checkboxes. So we can try create another directory and have all these filters implemented, because it's not so hard, but it will take time. So I'm not sure if you want to watch me build this, or if you want me to build it first and then talk about it in the next video. Let me know in the comments what should I do. But for today, if you look at my time, it's getting late here, so I should probably go to sleep. But I like the first iteration of the Directory Listing Builder. On a final note, this d/ and the slug of the directory should be accessible from a custom domain of the customer creating this directory at just the home page. And that's what I was talking about earlier in this video, that I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I think I will have two instances, one for creating directories and the other one for the public directories that are published and where users can pay to that tenant. But then again, I don't know if on that end or in that application we'll have register. Yeah, I think I will disable everything except for the public directory. It's basically another SaasRock instance, just allowing for these public pages, which are going to be the directory home, the category home, the listing home, and yeah, maybe a pay to promote the listing, claim a listing page, submit a listing. So it will be like 6 to 8 pages on that standalone application that you will have to maintain. That's not ideal, but I don't think Remix has subdomain support, because I think I've seen in Next.js they have rewrites, and They're working in a middleware right now, I think, but this is not a problem. I mean, you see this all the time. You have your landing page in one domain, the your app name in another domain, which is another application, and even maybe the tenant subdomain in another application. And for that, they use TurboPack or similar. But I think I like this idea of having a configuration in a SaasRock instance to tell the instance that it won't have access to the admin dashboard or the application portal for the tenant. It will have access to public pages that the tenant posts, and all the interactions on those pages are for that specific tenant. I mean, payments, maybe even registering users under that tenant as members, but with roles of guest or customers. I don't know. So please let me know what you think of this progress and what you want to see on the next video. If you want me to build the Airbnb filters modal, dynamic filters attributes on video, or you want me to build it first and then make the video. So on that note, thank you for watching.